Hey y'all, how are you doing today? I appreciate y'all stopping by here on the TikTok and wherever else I post this and see what's going on. Last week I made vegetable soup, which I talked about being a home recipe, and I thought I'd share another one with y'all today. When I was growing up, my mama and my grandmama, to me, were the best cooks in the world. And not even as growing up, still today, they're the best cooks in the world to me. But my grandmother had this recipe for a chicken casserole that she cooked whenever we had like a big family event. Um, and after she died, my mama started doing it and everything. Well, we don't have a recipe. And so I've kind of tried to emulate it a few times in the past. And sometimes I do okay with it, sometimes I don't. And I know that some of the things I put in it are not anything like she would put in it. So I know that going in, but it's things that I like and things that I think taste good. So we'll go with that. Start off, boil a couple of pieces of chicken. These are boneless chicken breasts. I boiled these and then shredded them. Now, if y'all remember, I told y'all about my shredder, my chicken shredder. Actually, it's just a meat shredder. Y'all, I'm telling you, you need one of these. It is like the best thing in the world to shred chicken or anything like that. Cooked meat, this is awesome. Pork, all those kind of things. This is awesome for that. I'll put a link down in the comments, down in the post so y'all can see it and so you can get some of it. Okay, because seriously, those shredders, they're really good. The next thing I'd add is a can of cream of chicken soup. I think you could probably do cream of mushroom if you wanted to. I'm doing cream of chicken here simply because it's got chicken in it. I think is kind of how I decided to use cream of chicken. So my mom and my grandmother, they were wonderful cooks. And like I said last week, they cooked all the time. My grandmother was also a great baker. She loved to bake. I've got about 2/3 cup of frozen corn. It's the same corn I had last week in the freezer when I made soup, so I'm just adding it here. So my grandmother was a phenomenal baker. Actually, she was a phenomenal homemaker, period. I'm gonna add some mushrooms to this. I'm just gonna break them up. She was a phenomenal homemaker back in the day when you had homemakers. And she had this huge flower garden out in her yard, and she grew roses and she grew African violets, and just amazing cook and baker and seamstress. She used to make, when we were kids, she made our little suits and ties for us to wear to church on Easter Sunday and those kind of things. I mean, just a really, my mama was something else. Her name was Vera. And there was a time in my very young life when I stayed with her a lot and would, be with her. And every morning we would sit down at the dining room table or the kitchen table, and we would have coffee. She would, I'm put some peppers in here. She would have her coffee, and she would say it's with pet milk. It was always pet milk. That was the kind of milk she bought, pet milk. And I would have coffee with pet milk as well. Now, her coffee cup really did have coffee in it and pet milk. Mine may have had that much coffee in it and the rest of it pet milk. But we would sit every morning, we would sit in the kitchen and have breakfast together. And I always remember those times and really look back on those fondly. Just put some onion in here, and then I hard-boiled 2 eggs. I'm going to put those in here as well. So she and I would have breakfast together every morning, and I would stay with her when I was younger, and all that kind of stuff. And I have really good memories of being with my mama, and I think that's one of the places that really taught me to love to cook and bake and that kind of thing is from her. She used to watch her stories every day. and she had her soap operas that she watched, and she would talk back to her soap operas, and you did not bother her now when she was watching her stories, because those were important viewing every day. But yeah, she was a character. I loved her. My grandmother never drove. In her life, she never drove. My grandfather worked for Tugelo Gas Company for his entire career, and he was the very first integrated gas team in the company. And he and Mr. Jesse, they were quite a pair, and have very fond memories of my grandfather, my grandmother. My grandfather was probably the best man I've ever known. And I think my brother would probably agree with me on that. I'm just going to add some mayonnaise in here too. About 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise. This is Duke's mayonnaise because in the South we use Duke's mayonnaise. It's nice to see Duke's mayonnaise has kind of had a resurgence lately. So got some Duke's mayonnaise in there, and then I'm just going to add some salt and pepper in here. So anyway, my grandmother would make this casserole whenever we had like family reunions and that kind of thing, and it was always a big deal to get Vera's chicken salad casserole. So I tried making it a couple of times, and Mama would make it now and then whenever we'd have functions and things, and I've made it a couple of times, and I think it's good. I don't know if I do it as well as they did, but I've been on this sentimental kick, I guess, since Christmas. Thinking about my mom and my grandmother a lot, and so the last 2 weeks, these dishes that I've made have really been for them, and they've really been things that they would have cooked and they would have enjoyed and everything. So I've kind of made these and enjoyed them and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, just going to mix all this together, and then what I'm going to do, put it in casserole dish, and I'm going to put it in the oven on 350. I'm going to cook it for probably 30 minutes or so, uncovered in the oven. Just see how it comes out. And then before it's done, at the end of that 30 minutes, I've got one more step that I'm going to do. And I'll bring y'all back for that, because quite frankly, it could be the most important step of the whole recipe. I'll be right back. All right, y'all, we're ready for the final, most important step of this entire meal. I'm going to get it out of the oven. Been in the oven for about 30 minutes. See, it's nice and starting to brown and bubble and all that kind of stuff. It looks really good. All right. So the most important part of this entire meal are the shoestring potato sticks. Now, some of y'all are like, what in the crap is a shoestring potato stick? Others of y'all are like, oh my gosh, I have not seen shoestring potato sticks in decades. Well, for those of us of a certain age, we know that most every casserole had to have some kind of crispy topping. And the shoestring potato sticks were like the best thing you could do. Now they have those onions and all that kind of thing. Basically the same thing, except these are potatoes, those are onions. Anyway, that smells like my grandmother's house. I'm looking forward to tasting this. I'll let y'all know how it is. It's gonna go back in the oven for about 10 minutes. Y'all have a great day. Cook something for somebody. Cook something your grandmama cooked or your mama cooked. I love y'all. Have a good day. Bye. Of course, I forgot to tell y'all a couple of things. those potato sticks, they're hard to find. They weren't in the section of the grocery store where the fried onions were, where I thought they would be. They were back with the potato chips. I guess that makes sense. If you're shopping local here at Ingles, they were right underneath the Pringles. They were hard to find. The other thing I was going to mention to y'all, I mentioned last week my Casserole, or a week or so ago, my Casserole cookware. Y'all, I love it. I'm going to give you a link on that too, down there in the comments and all. Check that out too. It's really, really good. Y'all have a good day. Love you. Bye.